if you increase the price, if you increase the price of the products
Mm-hmm.
from 5 to 7, one, you'll be able to make more revenue, which might lead to increase in profits.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you'll be able to at least you will reduce your break-even, which is also good for the business. But the problem about you increasing your price from 5 to 7 is that customers might stop buying.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point in time, the price increases. Customers are always conscious about price.
Right.
So they might not want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the problem about increasing price. Therefore, variable cost. When you reduce your variable cost, it means that you might be able to maximize your profit, because at that point in time, your total cost will fall.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get it? Your total cost will have reduced. And if your total cost has reduced and you can still sell at the same price that you used to sell, that means you might be able to maximize profit.
Yeah.
But the problem about you reducing your variable cost might mean that you are reducing some components
Mm-hmm.
for the ice cream. And that might lead to quality lack.
But not always. But you're not always taking out components.
It's a variable cost, right?
Yeah.
Variable costs are cost that changes, as output changes.
Yeah.
So it might be because of, what are the variable costs you could change? Maybe you can reduce the number of your workers.
Yeah.
We're talking about the part-time workers here,
Mm-hmm.
not the ones you pay salary to.
Mm-hmm.
Your workers that receive wages. If you are reducing their numbers, maybe it will reduce. You might be taking out those ones that really know how to do the job. Mm-hmm. Or it might mean that some of those workers would be doing more than what they are supposed to do.
Yeah.
Which might lead to, tiredness, boredom, and inefficiency. So if you are reducing the variable cost, it's basically directly linked with the output.
Yeah. So,
do you get my point here?
Yeah.
But whichever ways, we have two options here to make. We have to make a case for them.
What you said, that customers are always conscious about the price. So once you make it cheap for them and you're taking out one of the components, this doesn't mean that the quality is falling. For example, if you had a really successful business and you reduce the cost, but you will still be known. The components you're taking won't affect that quality too much. You gotta.
So we should take variable costs, right?
Yeah, take variable costs. Raising prices is not. If I had a business, I won't do it.
MF should reduce its variable cost.
You only raise price when you add something to your
variable cost. As customers are always conscious about, customers are conscious about price. And being able to reduce the VC would mean that MF can still sell at the same price, can still sell at the same price and make profit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll go to question 4.
Question 4. Question 4. Identify and explain two differences between MF and unincorporated businesses. Difference 1 and difference 2.
MF MF is a public limited company, right? Right?
Yeah, it is a public limited company.
Country is okay. Wait, MF.
It is a public limited company.
Yeah, it's a public limited company. Thank you. So, inside, I find explain two differences between MF and unincorporated businesses.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about unincorporated businesses, we're talking about businesses that have, like the sole trader or the partnership business. These are unincorporated business. Okay. So what are the differences between MF and those businesses? One, MF has a legal identity. Mm-hmm. That means MF as a business is separated from the owners of the business. Okay. That's the difference between MF and unincorporated business, while unincorporated businesses do not have separate legal identity.
Okay.
2, MF could sell its shares to the public to raise capital,
Okay.
while unincorporated business cannot sell shares. Clear, right?
Okay.
All right.
Then we have MF, the public sector organization.
Okay. So we talk about MF as a public limited company. What's the difference between MF as a public limited company and MF as a public sector, and the difference between MF as a public limited company and a public sector organization?
Mhm.
So a public sector organization is an organization owned by the government.
Okay.
So the difference between MF, the difference between the public sector government or public sector business and a public limited company
Okay.
is that 1, MF would think of profit maximization,
Okay.
while a public sector business would think about services,
Mhm.
rendering services to the people
Okay.
without profit aim. Public sector organization would not aim for profit, while MF would aim for public.
profit. Okay.
Another difference between MF and public sector is that MF raises its capital
Mhm.
through the shareholders.
Okay.
Public sector organizations will raise capital through the government.
For the government.
Clear, right?
Right. So MF is looking after profit maximization, and sector organizations are looking after the
This
services.
is to the people.
Okay, and limited companies, they increase their profits through shareholders,
Yes, they increase their capital.
their capital with shareholders, and sector organizations with the government.
Yeah, through tax.
Okay,
With taxpayers' money, yeah.
yeah. So this is for 2019.
Yeah, let me write it.
We're going for 2020.